Hello everyone, my name is MJ Vilches and welcome to part 4 of Let's Make a 3D Artwork in Blender 2.82a. The artwork that I'm working on right now is titled A Son of the Sun, and I created this artwork for hashtag TUP Challenge, an art challenge that I initiated myself so that I can make more fan arts for the Underland Chronicles and also to tell the followers of the Underland project that I am still working on the project. So yeah, this is the last part of the series. So yeah, without further ado, let's do this. So yeah, my plans for this actually, what I'm planning to do is probably do the lighting first, and then after lighting, I'm going to be finding ways to make the fire, and then after that, rendering, and then compositing. So in the previous part, I already set up this temporary light right here, which I'm probably gonna end up still using. But yeah, this is our first light. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna turn on material preview here so that we have like an EV preview of our artwork. Because right now it's set to cycle, so I don't want it to go to the rendered view. I just want the material preview. Okay, finally loaded up. So yeah, we have our first light right here. This is going to be the main light, and if we're gonna be looking at our test render here, this is how it looks like. So I'm already liking the intensity of our light here, even for cycles render. So yeah, we have our first light and it looks good. Now we're going to add the other lights. So I want to add some edge lighting for Gregor here, and I also want to be able to see boots behind him. So yeah, I'm going to add a light here. I want to add an edge lighting here. I'm gonna use a point lamp, and I'm gonna be moving it over right here, and I'm gonna change that color of that to red. Probably increase the intensity a little, because this is like an intense scene. I'm gonna shift this on the other side and see what happens. I'm gonna increase the intensity by 100. Probably gonna use a different color for other light here. And set it to 100 as well. Let's see how it looks. So yeah, I might do a quick test render for this, just to see how it looks in cycles. I'm probably gonna reduce the intensity by half because our torch lamp is already 100 and we don't want it to be too much, so I'm gonna set that to 50. And you can't really see the red on Gregor here. I want to be able to see it. Let's see how we can do this and get it closer. I'm gonna do a quick test render and then let's see what happens. So yeah, here's our quick test render. Not really that satisfied with how the lighting goes, so we are going to be tweaking it more. So we're gonna go back to our layout workspace here, and I'm going to reduce the size. I'm gonna try and give it a sharper shadows, and I want to bring this light below Gregor here. Probably reduce the intensity to 50. I'm gonna bring that in closer, maybe right there, just below him. Also gonna do the same thing to this, make this small. So I just need this light to be an edge lighting, and also I want to add another one behind the rats. So I'm just gonna get this light right here, shift D, and I'm gonna add it behind the rats like that. Maybe that will work. Set that to 10 probably. And then this, I want the redness to be more focused. It's on the rats because, you know, they're deadly and they're out for blood, so that's kind of like the mindset for that, I guess. Probably make this smaller, even smaller. Let's see. This will like give it a sharper shadow. Okay, I'm gonna settle with 0.01 on the size of the light there. So the smaller the light, the sharper the shadow. The bigger it is, the shadow will be softer. And another thing that I'm going to do is I'm gonna try and add a light right there near Boots' face. Well, where are the lights added? Hopefully it's added on camera and lights collection. I think it is. So I'm gonna add a point there. Okay, so it is added in camera and lights collection. I'm gonna put it right there, and then I'm gonna set it to 2, and I'm gonna set the size to a lot, to about 1, just so it doesn't cast that much shadow. 0.75 may do. So I guess this is the best thing about CGI, is that you can put light anywhere and it's still fine, just so Boots' face there is kind of visible. So I'm gonna try 10 and then lower it if it's too bright. Red light below here. Probably make this 100, or no, 200. I mean 50. Let's go back to 50. But yeah, I'm gonna do a quick test render and see how our light setup is looking for cycles. So yeah, here's another test render, and yeah, there's really something that I don't, the background I think is not helping with this. I want it to be darker. Okay, so yeah, let's make more changes here. I also want to make the light probably not too big here, so I'm just gonna go back to layout, and I'm gonna select this light first. I want to reduce the size of this. I want to reduce the size of this to about 0.5. Actually, set this to 5, and I'm gonna change this to a bluish color. And then as for this light, I want to reduce the intensity enough so that it doesn't affect the background. Or I'm going to change the shading of the background so that just gonna turn on the lights here and change the colors of the background so that, you know, it's darker. So I'm just gonna be changing some colors here. And I'm also going to add a red lamp right behind them. I want to be able to see that shadow behind Gregor too. So I'm gonna try and do this. Just gonna move. I'm gonna cheat it. I'm gonna move the light right here, so the shadow is behind them. See, I just want that specular on the eyes as well, which is caused by this light and probably this one as well. And the fire might be reflected on his eyes as well. See, I want to add a red color right here, and I'm gonna use an area lamp for that. I'm gonna rotate it upwards because I want to emphasize the shadows. Make this rectangle. Okay, make it rectangle. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to look for here, because Gregor is in danger, because, you know, red kind of is like a universal symbol for danger. That's why I really am trying to like push the red here. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do a test render with these settings and see how it looks. So yeah, for the most part here, I think this is looking great. It's just something I want, like a nice. Let me just tweak it more until I just reach that look that it's in my head. So yeah, what followed after that is actually a series of changes that I ended up not keeping in the end. That's why I'm not going to be showing those to you. But yeah, the main thing is that I changed the material on the background, making it darker, because that's what I'm aiming for. I also ended up deleting the rectangular area lamp. I didn't like how it looked in the end. But I kept the edge lights behind Gregor and Boots, and I also kept pretty much everything in the settings of the other lights. So yeah, now let's move on to figuring out how to do the fire. So yeah, now we're going to go back to layout. Let's make that fire. So yeah, I'm not going to be using a smoke simulation or a fire simulation because it's going to be too much for my laptop, especially since I've been jankily setting things up in this artwork. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and model a fire. Procedurally make a fire texture. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do the fire. So to do that, I'm just going to set this back to solid view, smaller, because we're going to be modeling a fire here. So Shift S, cursor selected on this one. I'm probably going to delete this one as well. I'm going to go back to the torch here, because that's where the fire is going to be. I'm going to delete this. I don't need that. So how do we make the fire? I'm going to turn off the red layers for now. That layer and the cave, just to make our viewport lighter here. I'm also going to get rid of the camera light so there's no obstruction on the view, and also Gregor's armature. So yeah, one thing I think that I could do for this is I'm gonna start with a sphere, and then I'm just gonna quickly do stuff like that. No, not like this. I'm gonna change this to sharp so that we have this like flame thing going here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up YouTube and watch a tutorial from a fellow Filipino Blender user. I'm just gonna search procedural fire, and I think his tutorial will come out. This one. So it's CG Patrick. So I'm just gonna watch this and come back.
How many I have?
And the little rascal is in the room. So yeah, I just shoot away my little sister and watch CG Patrick's tutorial of procedural fire, which I really recommend you watch too. But yeah, I watched this tutorial, and it's actually pretty easy. It's awesome. CG Patrick is awesome. Thank you so much for your fire tutorial. I have learned something new, and now I am confident that we can pull off this fire using only our only mesh. I'm gonna go to camera view so we can see it. I'm gonna pick this point right here and scale it there. I'm gonna turn off proportional editing Actually, I need to turn that back on and set it to smooth. Just put it right here. I'm kind of following our fire here that I drew. So I'm gonna settle with that for now, shade smooth that. And I'm gonna go to shading. So yeah, sometimes this is happening because I'm stupid. You can't see anything because I turned off all the lights. That's actually the only reason why. Stupid. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna make this fire. So yeah, I've selected the fire mesh, right? I'm gonna rename that to fire. To stay organized, add a new material. Get rid of this principled BSDF out of here. We don't need this. Shader, make shader. Put that right there, and then shader emission, shader transparent BSDF. So yeah, I kind of forgot the ordering, but we'll figure that out later. Next should be our color ramp converter, color ramp node. So I actually just watched the tutorial once, so I might have forgotten stuff. But don't worry, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna add, I'm pretty sure he added a noise texture. I'm gonna plug it into the factor right here. And then I'm gonna go use Node Wrangler to add the rest here. But I didn't enable or install Node Wrangler. So I'm just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Vector mapping. This is what he did. Plug that in, generated. And vector right here. Did I do it right? I'm not sure. I'm gonna put this up top right there. And I'm gonna go to the material right here. Viewport display, blend mode, alpha blend. So we have the noise texture, set this to 16. That's what he did. I'm gonna try and do this for a while, color. No, this one. Set that to color. Tell you what, I'm gonna plug in the emission for now. So yeah, we can actually see it here. I need to put that back to opaque. So yeah, we can already see the effect happening here. So yeah, if you want to know how to do this, CG Patrick made a tutorial. Let's bump that up some. Okay, I'm gonna try plugging it back in. So there we can see it now. With this, and then alpha blend, let's see. Alpha hash. Alpha hash is probably perfect. Let's just stick with opaque for now. Will ease be great. So this is pretty much how he did it, I think. And we can change the color to see it. And gonna add a gradient texture. Do this. Generated vector, and then color XRGB. I think the top is the gradient. Factor set to 1. Set this to clamp and set this to multiply. And I need to edit. Let's see. Okay, I need to rotate it on the y-axis -90 degrees, and then move our fire so that there we go. That's nice. Now let's just tweak our fire here. Add scale. Well, adding scale will do something for us here. I'm gonna try 2 distortion. So yeah, that's looking nice. And yeah, I'm just gonna try and tweak it more here. Okay, scale it down to get that fiery look. So I probably just need to position it nicely so that it looks great there. So yeah, this shouldn't have any shadow. So shadow mode is none. And then let's try alpha hashed again. And turn on the cave. Increase the intensity of our emission shader. Okay, 200. Okay, I'm gonna try alpha blend. Alpha blend has a nice look to it. That probably won't have any effect. Most definitely. I'm gonna try opaque so that I can see it. So the thing that needs to be done here is to properly form the fire and also add more color to our color ramp. This is going to be controlling the color of the fire for us. So I'm just gonna add another one right here. Probably make the inner one reddish, as you can see. It's giving a nice glow there now. Bring that back in there some. And also make this more yellow, I guess. And this would look nice in Eevee because of the bloom. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna render this using Eevee, this fire. Turn on bloom and it would look nice. So the fire. I'm gonna turn off rats and caves again. And I'm gonna focus on modeling the fire properly. Our fire mesh here, make it look nice. Our torch, I need to bring that down. I need to turn on the rat to see, not cover it behind them. I'm gonna try adding a displace for this. Doesn't look great. Probably gonna get rid of this, but yeah, I'm gonna tweak this shader. Play with the scale here so that it's not too small. And bring it down some. Okay. Now we're going to keep modeling this fire until it looks great. maybe selecting this loop here will do the trick. And then do that. Scale it down some. Ooh, I can kind of see it happening already. By the way, this is the first time I'm using this kind of method. And not really the first time, because I tried doing it on the logs and it failed. But it's really nice. And just to get that shape of the fire there, and then it goes thinner, and then go thinner here, then thicker again as the fire rises. But yeah, look at that. Oh boy, it looks awesome. Also gonna be adding some like particle systems, like gonna add like sparks. But yeah, look at that, it's looking great. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna try and make this alpha blend again so we can see, because that's probably how it's going to look. But as you can see, our fire is right there. It's looking great. I'll need to like do a render to see how it really looks in cycles, because it's gonna be different in cycles. This right here looks great. I'm gonna add a subdivision surface. I'll bring that back. It doesn't look great. I'm gonna scale down this one, however. And I'm gonna try raising our gradient a little bit higher. Maybe color ramp can fix the influence of this. There we go. I'm gonna try using ease. Do that. And then this is probably how it's going to look for the final render. Okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna set this to EV. I'm gonna turn on bloom. Okay, let's go to shading. Go back to our emission node. I'm gonna set it to 1000. No, too high. I'm gonna settle with 250. Make this redder, probably. Bring back the saturation there. Gonna make that. I'm gonna try linear again. Okay, make it like this. And I will need this part to be black, I guess. I'm gonna try darken this part right here inside the flame. So I'm gonna do that by doing this. I'm gonna select the torch. I am going to add another material and just use a black emission shader, and then I'm just gonna apply the ones at the top right here. So yeah, I'm gonna select the top, the middle vertex there at the top, Control plus numpad, select these guys right there, and then I'm going to assign. And as you can see, oh boy, that looks nice. Do I need to make the fire bigger? I'm gonna try making the fire bigger. I'm gonna set the cursor right here. Cursor selected. Make sure that our median point. Oh, intense fire. So yeah, that looks nice. Just need some particles here and there, and it's gonna look awesome. So I'm gonna test render with all these settings, just this raw, all of it. But for the final composition, for the final artwork, we are going to be rendering each element separately so that we can separately manipulate them. I'm going to need to turn on boots. So yeah, I'm going to do a test render. Then I'll show it to you. So yeah, it's looking great. This is going to look great with all the bloom and stuff. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that fire. I'm not going to try and touch that. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to add more fur on the rat's hand right there. It looks too clean. And also fix the lighting, and then we're gonna do the final render, and then after that, compositing. So yeah, I'm gonna do all of those. So yeah, look at that. It looks nice, doesn't it, with the bloom? Now imagine that right here. Ah, it's gonna look great. Plus the particles and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna tweak the rat's fur. So I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna update our weight paint of the density. Just add more. Just add some right there. Also here, so just add this part right here, and I'm gonna be doing some particle edit too. Same goes for this guy, because it's so clean. Also right here, there, add stuff right there, and then let's go to particle edit. And that's very weird. Why does it look like that? What? There we go. Oh, that made me nervous. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna add some particles right here. Also here. This is not how you do it if you're being serious about stuff. This is a very janky way of doing it. So just quickly comb that in place there. And then let's try. Look at that. And comb it. I'm gonna settle with that. And then let's turn stuff back on. Another test render. And then we'll see how things will look. Yeah, we're really getting close to what we want here. Really getting close. And it's looking nice, real nice. Probably need to to make some changes with the rats here. Yeah, we're really getting close. Just a few more changes, and I'm gonna do a final render. Just try and make the rats look appealing. And probably reduce the fur here. So yeah, the last test render. I guess one of the final things I'll do is change the background. But yeah, I'm gonna be changing a lot for the final render. So we're just gonna see that later. But note that the changes that I'll be making are just like the shaders and stuff, just to make things look, nice, like in overall. Also, one of the things that I actually added for our artwork here is adding a cloth simulation for Gregor's shirt, because I don't like how plain it looks, and I just want to add more details to it, and I think cloth simulation will be great for it. So the way I did it is that using a shape key, I scaled the objects that will be colliding in the simulation. So I scaled Gregor's shirt and the bag away from each other so that there's no clipping happening, because that's what's going to ruin the simulation. The downside of this is it made Gregor's shirt bigger than it usually is, but since it looked nice in the end, I didn't really mind. And then I just did some basic settings for the cloth. Barely even touched any of the settings, except for turning down the settings for when they come into contact with each other. I set the collision to about 0.001 so that when they collide, the cloth won't be like far away from the collision object. The cloth will collide right when it's about to touch the collision object, not like a few inches away from it. So yeah, that's about the only settings that I tweaked for each of the cloth simulation elements. So yeah, I already added a collision physics for Gregor, like the Gregor mesh. I also added a cloth physics on, of course, his shirt, and then I added a collision to the bag straps so that it kind of squeezes the shirt into Gregor's body, like how bags affects clothes in real life. So yeah, that's about it. It's just a simple cloth simulation and cloth settings and like a cheat to be able to achieve what I want to achieve here. This kind of method is probably gonna work during animation. I still need to test it, but it's working right now for artwork. And then I proceeded to rendering each layers of the art individually. So yeah, I'm done rendering each element. It's time to do some compositing. So yeah, for the compositing, I am going to actually do it on a separate blender file, VFX, so that it will immediately put as I'm gonna delete motion tracking. I'm not gonna do that, and the masking. We only need the compositing and the rendering. I'm gonna check use node. I'm gonna close that. I'm also gonna open a new window. Do I need to open a new window? Okay, I'm gonna close this. We don't need the dope sheet for this because it's not an animation. I'm just gonna open a new window here, or editor type, and I'm gonna pick image editor and render result. I'm gonna set this to 250 because that's the size of our images, and then save it in the same folder as I think we're right, artworks. Yeah, we're already in the same folder, so I'm gonna save it there, and I'm just gonna drag first the cave, do this, and it's gonna take a while because it's such a big image. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this instead. I'm gonna put the preview here so that the screencast won't obstruct the view for the nodes, because this is gonna be a one heck of a node setup as we composite each of the elements together. So we have the cave background here, and then I'm gonna drag and drop Gregor right there in our node editor. I'm gonna select color, alpha over. I'm gonna attach Gregor below. And this is supposed to be the render result. Drag and drop our rat layer, rat image. I'm gonna add an alpha over again, connect it there. See, I'm lagging like crazy because this is a very big image. The elements are right there. I'm going to have to go to color management and set this to, for now I'm gonna set it to standard, and then the fire, which is going to be over everything. I'm gonna try putting it first over everything if it looks great. So I rendered two two versions of the fire layer. First is the one without the gloom, and which I rendered in cycles, and the one with the gloom, which I rendered in Eevee. So I'm probably gonna try first cycles. So color, mix RGB for this. I mean mix, not mix RGB. So yeah, mix. I'm gonna just put that at the bottom there. There we have our fire. I'm gonna do that, and I'm also gonna be putting on top of that the one with the gloom, and let's see how it looks. And so I'm gonna shift D this, drag and drop it there, and then connect this right there, and we have mostly what we want here. But we're not done yet. I might have to move the rats. I'm gonna move this, shift D that right here. I'm just gonna mute this one, mute, and I'm gonna put the rat on top of everything. Connect that right there, and then this right there, and that should be fine, because I don't want the particles to like go behind the rats here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna control X this. I don't need this anymore. So now we have the cave background. I'll just move that right there, or maybe it's fine if I like group this two together. Control G, tab, and I'm gonna rename this Gregor, and then I'm also gonna control G this, control G, tab, rename this fire 1, and then I'm gonna control G both of this fire 2. So we have like a clean node setup here, which will then add effects. I need the rats to be outside because I'm gonna be adding a filter there later. Just gonna move this, and then the first thing I'm gonna do is I am going to blur the background to make it out of focus. So I'm gonna select blur. I'm probably gonna select bokeh, and I'm gonna set it to 10 on the X and Y axis. Let's see how it looks. It probably needs to be blurred more. How about 30? Let's go for a higher number. So it's taking its time to composite because these are really big images. So yeah, it's done compositing. I think there's this really ugly lines here, jagged lines on the edges of Gregor here. So to fix that, we actually only need to go to the group here, and I'm gonna convert primo. So yeah, as you can see, the ugly jagged lines have been fixed, and it's properly blending into our cave there. I'm also gonna do the same thing for the rats, which is right here. I'm gonna convert it to primo. So yeah, I'm not actually seeing an issue here with the render. I might have to adjust the strap so that it's not like going up right here. So I'm gonna fix that. Just gonna re-render this. It's going to take about 40 minutes, and also I'm going to try and get a frame from the particle settings to not cover Gregor's face here. I'm gonna try to look for a nice looking particles in whatever frame it will be. So I'm just gonna do that, and I'm gonna go back to compositing.
So yeah, I'm done with some re-renderings, and another thing that I'm seeing here is that these particles right here, I don't want it to cover Gregor, so I'm probably gonna use GIMP to edit this part and just move it right here. See, I really want to do the compositing in the Blender and not in other programs, so this time I'm just gonna cheat a little bit and just edit this part and move it right here using GIMP. So yeah, I just woke up, so my voice may be deeper than usual. Just gonna drag it right here. So I'm just gonna move it right about here, I think. Actually, for reference, I'll also drag and drop Gregor and the rat. Put that on top. Just lower the opacity for a while. And I'm just gonna quickly grab these particles right here. Control X, Control V, and to new layer, our pasted layer. And then let's just move it right here, and you'll see the effect of that soon. New layer, make it transparency, I guess, and I'm just gonna color fill the entire thing there. Put that back to the default. There we go. Just gonna Control Shift E to export this. Okay, we're done exporting, and save. And I'm gonna drag and drop our Fire 2 edited on our node editor. So anyways, one of the things that I changed is that are probably gonna be cut out because, you know, the recording messed up, is that I unchecked convert primo for the rats. because there's like a black line outline happening right here. So I unchecked it and that fixed it. There's no more black outline. And then I also set the blur of the rat to 70, and then the blur of the background is 50, and I also unchecked bokeh because it's like taking too much time to composite it. And yeah, that's I guess all the settings that I changed that will be edited out because the recording failed, because the laptop can't handle the intensity of our artwork here. So yeah, let's just keep going with this. So I'm probably gonna leave it to standard because the standard really looks nice, but let's try and experiment how Filmic looks for this, because I already rendered this in Filmic and I'm not sure if it's gonna still look nice using Filmic. The lag is strong with this one. I don't really like the effect of Filmic for this. I'm gonna go back to none, go back to standard, and I guess I'm gonna settle with standard. I'm gonna not use curves and do it here instead. Okay, I'm gonna try this RGB curves. See, I think it's looking great leaving it like that. I just want to reduce the redness a bit, just so it's not too red. Probably also going to try and change the colors of the rat here, just to make him a bit darker. RGB curves for the rats. I'm gonna set them a bit darker, because the closer the object is to the camera or to you, the darker it gets, and I need them to be dark. So I'm gonna try to do some complementary colors. This is probably reddish or something. It's greenish something. I'm probably gonna make the rats more red than Gregor. There. It's darker now. And then I'm gonna increase the red value. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, I'm gonna go to the background and also do some color grading for the background here. Probably make the complementary colors, I think. So for the background, I'm gonna make it lighter. Okay, so another thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to add like a black gradient or something, black shading, like a vignette around the background right there. And to do that, I'm going to do this. I'm gonna add to the animation layout here. I'm just gonna reset the camera to its default location, which is right in the middle of the world origin there. Then I'm gonna rotate our X to 90 towards that way, which is negative X-axis that way. I'm gonna move it, Y-axis, move it on the Y-axis positive that way towards the front. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on 3D cursor because I wanna see it. I'm gonna shift A, I'm gonna add a grease pencil. I'm gonna name it vignette, and then I'm gonna name this vignette EG. This is going to be a render layer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to add Gregor here as a background image. So I'm just gonna look for Gregor right here. We have Gregor as our background image. I'm gonna select the vignette, grease pencil object again, Control Tab, draw. I don't want it to affect the radius, and set that to really high, not 3000. 3000 is too much. How about 200? So I'm gonna try this kind of vignette. It's probably going to have some interesting effect on our artwork, giving it a vignette like this. So this will be covered by the rat, so you won't really see that. What's probably gonna be visible is this part below here, and this guy right here probably. But we'll see soon enough. It's gonna look like this. I'm gonna render it. Go back to compositing. I'm gonna shift A, input, render layers to come out. So I'm gonna put it over before the color grade or after. Let's try before. Use a mix node right there. So observe the lower parts right there. It should darken up. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna apply the blur right here. So for the most part, I think our artwork looks great. I just want to add more to it. So yeah, it looks like something happened to our fire too. Let me just refresh that, because our particles are gone. So yeah, we have that right there. And I'm gonna add a blur filter. I'm gonna blur it to about 30. And then I'm gonna add an RGB curves right about there. I'm just gonna bring it down like that, like really down.
and let's see how it looks. I'll probably make this higher. I did that to make the particles not too prominent because it's kind of distracting. And then also I'm gonna add something. One of my favorite effects here is on the distort, and then lens distortion. Yeah, that's too distorted. 0.005, and the dispersion probably 0.05. So yeah, I guess I'm loving how that looks. And there's a nice dispersion right there. The lens distortion, I like it. It's nice. And I want to try doing something here. I'm gonna add a new render layer, rename it red vignette, and I'm going to do something here. I enable that. I'm gonna add a new collection. I'm gonna make sure this is unchecked for red vignette. I'm gonna shift as crystal world origin. I'm gonna add a new grease pencil object for our red vignette. I'm gonna add material red. Set this to a red color. And I'm just gonna do this. Let's see how this will affect things. I'm gonna go to object mode, go back to the other vignette. Make sure to uncheck collection 2, red vignette. Collection 1. Let's check for use for rendering so that it's rendered. And go back to compositing. I'm gonna add that render layer just above Gregor's layer right here, and then set that to red vignette, and then I'm gonna render. So yeah, our render is done. Let's add that vignette right above Gregor and the fires right here. So I'm gonna go color, mix, just go with the image right here, do that. That's our red vignette image, connecting it on our mix node here, and it's gonna take some time. I'm gonna make sure that alpha is included, and that doesn't look good, probably because we forgot to set some important settings, like, you know, checking the transparent for the background. So yeah, it resulted to that because I need to go to our vignette right here and make sure to enable alpha as well. I'm gonna add a blur for our red vignette. Set that to about 100. Let's see how that looks like. And here we go. The red vignette doesn't look great at all. Probably make that only 0.5, the factor of our red vignette. So yeah, the red vignette, I don't think it's adding the desired effect to our artwork here. I'm gonna go back to 2D animation here. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna try a different way of how it looks. Let's see if that will have the desired effect. And yeah, I think that looks great. One other thing though, I don't like how green the background is. And there we go. Okay, one last thing. I'm gonna go back to our vignette background here. I'm gonna update this. So vignettes really helps in adding focus to our subject. So yeah, it's looking really nice, I guess. With the vignette, it's really helping like give more focus here. So yeah, I've now made some re-renders, and I think it's looking good. Yeah, a lot of like Blender CG artists are like aiming for realism so much, and because of that, you know, I don't want to do it, because then a whole lot of realistic arts are gonna be showering in again from any platform. There's just so much realism happening, and you know, come on, you live in already a realistic world. You can already see some real stuff around you, and yeah, that's just me, I guess. I want to make an artwork that I'm happy with, and it really doesn't matter if, you know, if it's not fine for others to look at, as long as you achieve your, you know, as an artist, you achieve the look that you're looking for. I think that's good enough. You're already creating an artwork that that makes you happy. That's not gonna be the case though if you're working for someone else. Of course, you have to like realize the vision that for example, the director wants. But if you're an artist who's just doing your own art, I think it's best that you have a clear vision of your artwork. A clear vision within yourself or for yourself, and that's just kind of what I'm trying to aim for here. So yeah, I think we're done. It's looking really nice already. See, one of the changes I made before finalizing it is re-rendering Gregor layer here, and made his shirt kind of wet because he came from a boat ride on the river, and also made stuff shinier. Yes, I also changed the blur of the rats, increased it a bit more, just so our focus is Gregor right here. And the title is gonna make sense to you if you've read the book, which is A Son of the Sun, because this is a moment in the book where these rats realize that he is the son of the sun. So yeah, that is not gonna make sense to you if you haven't read the book. So I suggest you read Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne Collins. It's a really nice book. So yeah, that's all, I guess. You can view this artwork in my art accounts. The link will be in the description below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something from it. A lot of janky methods were applied, but this is the result, as you can see. And yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. My name is MJ Vilches, and yeah, gotta go back and get to work on animations for episode 1.